Yeah, you have to put the, I know Alderman Santoy said he wasn't. Alderman Santoy said he wasn't coming.
He said he would be on the call.
Right. Anybody else, Marge?
No,
Okay.
was
Who was the first one that said they wanted?
Cynthia.
Cynthia.
Okay, we can call the committee of whole to order, please.
Lennon,
Here.
Ramirez. Here. Reardon,
Here.
Bates,
Here.
Santoy. Ruiz. Avila,
Here.
nowhere.
Here.
Make a motion to excuse Alderman Santoy and Ruiz.
Second.
Motion by Vela, second by North, to excuse Alderman Santoy and Ruiz. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, we have 4 items from the Berwyn Development Corporation. Dave Hallsberg, our Executive Director.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Alderman. Actually, sort of have 5 items, but we'll wrap the first item and the second one together. This would be the BDC 2021 budget. This is going before our board, the BDC board, for final approval in 2 weeks. As part of our process, we do share it with the city. As you all know, their budget remains relatively flat from the last year. We do anticipate a $850,000 contribution from the city of Berwyn per our contract with them. The BDC has completed the first year of this 4-year contract. We did include some additional program income that we have from some sale of property. That's why the budget's just a tad bit higher. But if there's any questions relative to our budget, I'd be happy to go ahead and entertain that.
Anybody have any questions? Obviously, you'll be open for questions if they call you later in the week.
Absolutely, Mr. Mayor.
Not on Thursday, though.
They can call on Thursday, I just won't answer.
Okay. Next item, David.
The second part of this is the 2021 BDC Recommended Budget. This would be the TIF budget for the coming year. We give a recommendation to the city, and then the city fathers and mothers go ahead and take action upon this. In terms of highlights, we now have 4 TIF districts. The Roosevelt Road TIF will be able to pay off the 6931 Roosevelt loan this year. So that's some good news based off dollars on hand. That's a $300,000 note that we'll be able to go ahead and pay off. There's also a set-aside fund that's being provided for any unused fund from the prior budget year that can go towards infrastructure and safety improvements for the corridor, to include license plate reader cameras, which would come back to you as a separate item. But there's roughly $320,000 that we see there. In the depot TIF, we've allocated $130,000 for the 2020 depot revenue bond. That closed this past week. That provides $7.1 million to the city, which can go ahead now and be used to assist in the depot infrastructure project. We're also sinking some future dollars, again, for the future, to be used for improvements for safety in that corridor. We're requesting that the city transfer $50,000 from the depot TIF over to the Ridgeland TIF to pay some of the TIF expenses, because the Ridgeland TIF is not creating any increment as of yet, but will in the future. This way, what the TIF statute provides for, if one TIF touches another TIF, you can port money from one to the other. This would give the opportunity, one, if the city chose just to transfer the money, they could. Alternatively, at some point in time when that TIF is doing better in producing increment, that $50,000 could be repaid. What's important to note is that both these 2 TIFs have the same governmental units that are part of it.
Okay, hold on one second, Dave. Marge, you want to see who else came in?
Alderman Santoy, is that you on the line?
Yes, I know you.
Alderman Santoy recommends.
Okay.
Okay. The next part of this is the Harlem TIF. We've set aside a new water main on Cermak at $466,000 and safety improvements for that corridor as well, to include the license plate readers from any unused funds from the prior year budget. And lastly, the Ridgeland TIF, again, has no income but should receive a transfer of $50,000 from the Depot TIF. And again, we can pay that back at a later date. The positive news here, as we had reported earlier, by rebalancing these TIFs, taking the non-producing properties out of the TIF, because of the way Cook County computes tax increment, we've been able to bring in excess of $700,000 more to these 4 TIFs to the community. So we're now starting to see all of the TIFs producing a positive income, all have positive balances, and we're starting to be able to put some money away for the future for some major projects that we originally didn't anticipate doing, such as the Cermak water main, which we'll now be able to fund out of the TIF because we extended the TIF. So kudos to the administration and to council in letting us make those changes. Again, any questions on this matter?
Questions?
I just had a small question on the original TIF. I know I talked to you earlier, later last week, I think it was, about the hardware store. I mean, the hardware, right by the school. Is that part of the TIF? I don't remember.
No, so part of that TIF is functionally 3 properties. It's Freedom Middle School. It is the 3,000 Ridgeland property, which we have a confirmed new purchaser of that property. So that is under contract for a single-family home development that will come back to City Council for an approval in the coming months. And then across the street, the BNSF property.
So that development is part of that TIF?
That will be part of the TIF.
That would be the only residential then, right? In any other TIFs?
Well, there is the middle school that's part of it, so the TIF will be able to now assist the middle school. And then there's the BNSF property across the street, which is not paying property taxes, but the administration is addressing that issue and taking it through an appeal process.
But in dealing with the residential developers that are purchasing the physician's records, Dave's gonna do us an analysis to show what we can expect with respect to property tax versus what the tax that's being paid now too. For that physician records property. But BNSF is the one where there's no property tax being paid. Those places are leased out, they're supposed to be paying tax, and we have attorneys fighting with that now.
So right now, the property, the 3,000 Ridgeland property, it's paying about $120,000 in property taxes per year. I would anticipate the new development will be paying 3 times that amount in property taxes.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions on this one?
I have a question about the license plate readers. I haven't seen the memo on that. Is that a,
That will come back to council. It's just a set aside right now. If we don't.
has that been requested? I'm just not aware of that program.
It's a program that we came across and thought that it was a valuable resource for the community to consider. And so we have to go ahead and program dollars in the budget annually. If we don't, they're considered surplus. If the dollars then are surplus, then they have to go ahead and get divvied up between all the governmental units. This would be an eligible project for the community to consider. That's why this is just a recommendation at this point coming forth to City Council and saying, hey, as we look at the TIF budget, this is an area where dollars could be set aside.
Do we get to provide other options for that? Because
Sure. So, I mean,
it
City
seems like a
Council
significant
can,
amount of money.
yeah, City Council can certainly do whatever their purview is as it comes to eligible expenses with those dollars within the TIF district.
Thank you. So just for clarity, this wasn't something that the city or any department in the city asked you to look into. This just came across your desk and you thought it was interesting.
Well, I guess it's a twofold, because we did talk with the police administration about the program and the value of something like this. So there has been some discussion. I would say it's mutual, going back and forth.
Thank you.
Okay, next.
Next item is the 2021 Bdc Recommended Wyberwin Budget. Given the COVID-19 pandemic, we've kept the council updated on the changes that we've made to this particular program, where we saw that there was benefits in spending dollars and where there wasn't. So we scaled back the program this year We made it what I'll call neighborhood friendly to address some of the desires of a way to react of what's going on out there in the community. So our advertising campaign, we peeled it back again because the billboards, there wasn't the exposures, people weren't driving as much, people weren't on the streets. So you'll see there from the analysis that there are dollars that are now put back, will be dropped back into the TIF that will not be used as a result of the pandemic and some of the changes. But our ad campaign very much moved over to who are your neighbors here in Berwyn, and demonstrating that the neighborhood of Berwyn is very mixed demographically,
Diverse.
and that we encourage all of community to come forth and be part of Berwyn here. So we're asking for, again, a flat budget of what we had last year, but any changes to it will come back to council as we've done this year, just as we see the COVID-19 pandemic being addressed.
Questions? David?
The next item is our quarterly report. So this is the completion of our third quarter report being provided to the city. What is not reflected in this report, but I think is really important to share, there were 471 businesses that received PP funding of this. 30 of those businesses received more than $150,000. The BDC made every effort to reach every business within our community, trying to get them to be qualified and to apply for these funds. So we see this as a real win. When we compare the Berwyn to other communities on any of these grant programs, we're seeing that we received more dollars than other communities, in large part because we had more applications that were able to be filed because more of our residents or more of our businesses were aware of these programs. The second, there were 40 businesses that received business interruption grant funding, and the Cook County Recovery Initiative, which the BDC helped administer, 89 Berwyn businesses received $10,000 grants. So every Berwyn business that was qualified received money as part of this grant. There was a round one, which went out last week. Round two is being announced tomorrow. But the positive news is, again, everybody that applied is getting $10,000. Additionally, the BDC secured a $50,000 capacity building grant from the Federal Home Loan Bank, which is assisting us to be more prompt and handling more loans. We also have applied to the federal government for an EDA grant, several $1 million to provide loans to the business community. We've heard positive news on that front as well. We are a finalist. They've asked for additional information. So hopefully by year's end, we'll hear about that announcement and our ability to make loans, more loans to the business community here. The other part about this, and I reported a little bit earlier, that we were happy to report that the Depot Special Revenue Bond closed last week, and we'll be able to fund that through TIF increment in the future.
Did you advertise the second round of the big grants?
Yes, we did, sir.
Okay, if a business got it under the first round, are they eligible under the second round
No.
also? No, okay. Any other questions? Okay,
Well, we're moving right through this. So the last item that I have is the 2020 Bdc Vacancy Report. This is a mid-year report. We didn't have a lot of changes that were going on. I do want to indicate that the community vacancy rate, as we calculated, came to 8.8%. However, we have a significant issue growing in the Cermak corridor with a vacancy rating hovering around 29.2%. We did submit to the permit division directions on how to implement the city vacant property registry. They now have that, and they're getting ready to implement it. Once this tool is implemented, it will assist us in addressing the vacancy issue.
and
So
there's
we're-
been discussion between the building department and the IT department about how they're putting that together on the, for the IT portion.
And as I reported, the BDC has applied for these federal dollars to assist in providing capital to the business community to help address the vacancy crisis. This will be very valuable in helping startups and family-type businesses which promulgate our community, especially in that Cermak corridor, of helping them start their businesses. And then with expertise from SCORE, ourselves, Axion, and others, we'll be able to guide them on their business plans and marketing plans. The BDC has acquired 3 properties on Roosevelt Road, and we are now preparing to close on a 4th. All of these properties are vacant. We have agreements to sell all the properties to get them occupied. The BDC is meeting with several developers, and we see a high likelihood of several properties on Ogden, Roosevelt, Ridgeland, and Cermak of getting them occupied. So that's, again, more positive news that we're seeing the development community respond right now that they are ready for COVID to be over and get development projects into the ground.
Questions?
Dave, did I understand that this will be the last vacancy report we get from you? The next vacancy report will be created by the city?
No, you'll still get a report from us.
Okay.
And then our hope is that our report will dovetail with the cities, that we'll be able to go ahead and track on how those vacant properties are now going to get occupied. Under that process, the BDC does have a role in working with each of these businesses that have a vacancy to talk to them and counsel them on how they can go ahead and get those properties either up for sale or occupied.
There's a lot of computer programming, writing that has to be done, writing programs. So that's been put in the gentleman's hands who handles that. So it may take a little time before we get that up and running.
So it's a coding issue?
It's more than coding. It's writing a program.
Thank you.
Okay. Any questions? All right, David, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we have nothing left on the committee of the whole. That went a little faster than we anticipated. So we'll be back on at 8 o'clock.
Oh, Ben looks like he has
Ben, you had something for committee of the whole?
Alderman, I'm just checking in on the line of credit final documents that is being up for a vote in the council with our attorneys, our city attorneys, as well as our financial advisor on the line. Just want to make sure if you have any additional questions on the measure that was approved at the last council session.
I'm sorry, Ben, can you state your question again?
Oh, sorry.
There was some changes to what you guys previously approved for the line of credit. The bank wanted to see more information regarding the full line of credit as opposed to just what we wanted to take out of it right now. So they had to put in some additional language in the agreement. That's what's in front of you tonight.
That's correct.
And that's what you sent us an email?
That's correct.
Last week, or, yes. Yep, that's correct.
Yep. Okay.
Is that okay? Anybody have any questions?
No.
Only other thing I had is last Friday, I sent all the aldermen the summary and detailed budget reports. I've only received a confirmation of receipt from a handful of aldermen. I just want to make sure that everybody received it. If so, if you can just send me a reply that I received the email. I
If you're
appreciate it.
opening it on your phone, he doesn't get a reply that you read it. So if you could just simply send him a reply that you read it.
I appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Nothing else, Ben?
That's it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else have any questions, anything in the agenda? If not, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn the committee of the whole.
So moved.
Brought in by Ruiz. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. We'll be back at 8 o'clock.
Good, good, thank you. I know. I know.
I'll do sign language.
Mike's off.
How's everything with you?
Cakes and toys.
Yeah, lots of goodies in here, huh?
Yes, they're not allowing nobody in, so
So we'll fill it up with stuff,
fill it up with
goodies.
goodies, I guess. Donations or whatever you got going.
How's the family doing?
Good, she's, did all right in the first quarter or whatever semester or whatever they call it. Just, it's getting old, you know. Got a beautiful $50 million building sitting there, she can't get it.
I know. I'm sure these kids are just about,
So, we'll see, I don't know, I'm guessing she's not gonna be in it all year. The way it looks.
is this her first year?
First
now?
year, yeah, freshman in Northwest. Hard to believe.
I know. Time going, you know, even with COVID, I feel like time is still flying by.
It is, I mean, it's hard to believe to be 21.
I mean, the first month it felt
It
long.
kinda dragged, right?
Right, but ever since, yeah, it's just been like, every time I turn up, I'm like, what? Another week has gone by? It's like crazy.
It's good for you, or,
Huh?
it's good for you.
Yeah, just keeping myself busy with no, it's not. It's a brand new position, they're just working with me, figuring it out. Yeah, absolutely. But it's good, I like it. It's a really different atmosphere. So, I cut down the semester, so I had just registered for the new semester starting in January. Huh?
Where you go?
At USC. Yeah, everything's online, so.
So you're doing, it's probably hard to concentrate, right?
Well, you know, it's not that bad. The first time it was really hard because I didn't know how the system works, so, you know, following it and submitting homework and having.
So now you're kinda,
Now I know how it all works.
you know, I couldn't go back to school.
I now know how. It was a little bit, you know, I'm pretty tech savvy, but that was hard.
Yeah.
I'm like, what do you mean you submitted, you uploaded the sign in? I don't see it anywhere. Where is it, you know? So, but yeah, I figured it out. It's
Okay.
actually pretty cool.
It
It's
is.
pretty sophisticated.
Okay.
I was
Yeah,
like, wow.
I couldn't do that.
And it's gonna, I can't afford to be out
Oh,
for
here
another
comes
year.
questions.
I can't afford to be out for another year, so I have to go.
Okay.
I wanna graduate before I'm 60, or at least, you know, close to it. Oh.
No. No, nothing like that until after.
home?
Oh, boy. Hello, who's on the line? Hello?
Hi, Cynthia's on. Hi, Mark.
Hi, Cynthia. Is anyone else on the line other than Cynthia?
Hi, Marquita Trotter from Del Paso is on.
I'm sorry, could you speak up, please?
Marquita Trotter from Del Baldo.
How do you spell your last name? It's kind of garbled on the reception.
Sorry, it's Trotter.
What item are you speaking on?
I'm at
Ms. Trotter, what item would you be speaking on or recognized for?
It would be the line of credit, DMO line of credit.
Okay.
I'm not speaking this year for backup.
Backup for questions? Okay.
Questions.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Who else is on the line?
This is Caesar Santoy.
Alderman Santoy, okay, I have you as participating remotely. Anyone else?
Alderman Ramirez.
Yes, Alderman Ramirez, I have you. He is participating remotely. And is there someone from the insurance company? Hello?
The renewal for the excess?
Yeah.
Ruth? Okay.
Oh, okay, cool. I didn't know if you wasn't picking it up. I know that, about like that, so it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't? Yeah, it's good. Okay. All right, cool.
We're good.
Two?
Yeah.
Call the roll, please.
Lennon,
Here.
Ramirez,
Here.
Reardon,
Here.
Fate,
Here.
Santoy,
Here.
Ruiz,
Here.
Avila,
Here.
Noack.
Here.
8 present, Mayor.
If we can all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Liberty, justice for all.
If we would please keep in our thoughts and prayers the Sorolia family. Our Deputy Police Chief Michael Sorolia's mother passed away. And unfortunately, the day that they buried her, his father went into the hospital, was in critical condition. So if we can keep them in our thoughts and prayers, please, as well as all the men and women we have on the street tonight. Thank you. Open forum. Clerk Paul.
Mayor, I have several emails that came to us for open forum. I received 8 emails, and because of the length and because of the repetitiveness, I'm going to summarize them. I received an email from Jamie Franklin. She submitted her comment on November 23rd. Ms. Franklin recognizes the capacity limits in council chambers due to COVID-19, and she's asking that the city of Berwyn utilize modern technology to allow people to make their own comments during open forum and not have the comments read by a third party. I received a batch of 6 emails in response to a Facebook request asking for the firing of Police Chief Semaglia. Those emails came from the following people. Shonda Shabowski calling for Chief Semaglia's resignation due to June civil unrest, Black Lives Matter rally, and implementation of the 8 Can't Wait initiatives. Ms. Renee Knowles also called for the firing of the chief due to the Axon listening session, other police department actions, and she commented on the Berwyn Police Department's Facebook page that had racist and hateful comments, in her opinion. Mr. Benjamin Henning asked for the chief's removal due to the response to the 8 Can't Wait petition drive, also a lack of response to the implementation of the program, and he felt that the Berwyn Watch was used to anonymously attack him. Ms. Agna Wagner submitted a comment asking for the chief's removal due to the 8 Can't Wait response and interactions with the Diversity Commission. Ms. Keely Navarette commented on the resignation of some of the members of the Diversity Commission, and she commented with regard to the police force actions on June 1st and at the Black Lives rally. And also, she commented on the force's actions concerning the body and dashboard camera contracts. She also asked for the firing of Chief Semaglia. Mr. Dave Peterson also called for the firing primarily due to a lack of transparency and police accountability as he perceived it. He also calls out the chief for not cooperating with the Diversity Commission. He criticized the police department for using a derogatory word, gypsy, to characterize a crime file as it disparages the Roma people. And he lastly voiced opposition to the purchase of body cameras. Melissa Green was responding to the Facebook post by the local political candidate, and she sent comments to open forum to ask, that it be read in favor of and in support of Chief Semaglia for his professional response to an abusive domestic issue she needed help for. Those were the comments, Mayor.
Okay, I have one here from Tony Loretto, who's our Berwyn Emergency Management Coordinator. And he said on September 25th, 26th, and 27th of this year, the Berwyn Emergency Management Agency, Berwyn Township Health District Department, Cook County Department of Public Health, and the Berwyn Public Library provided a drive-through COVID testing where 907 people were tested over the 3-day period. On November 13th, the Berwyn Emergency Management, along with North Shore Clinic in the North Berwyn Park District conducted free COVID-19 testing using a drive-up system at the former VFW Hall, now owned by the North Berwyn Park District. 627 people were tested during the 8-hour testing period for no charge. On November 15th of this year, the Berwyn Emergency Management System and the Berwyn Township Health Department partnered with Cook County Department of Public Health and Julasco at the same location, North Berwyn Park District, and administered 84 free flu vaccinations in 2 hours. On November 22nd, Berwyn Emergency Management partnered with Morton West High School, North Shore Clinic, and the Berwyn Development Corporation and administered 1,300 COVID tests in 8 hours. These events require a great deal of coordination, commitment, and planning. In March, the city initiated the City of Berwyn's Emergency Operations Plan and formed the Emergency Operations Command Center. This brings together all aspects of the city's resources and departments. Command decisions of action are decided upon in the EOC, and the various section leaders carry out those plans. In short, the events listed above are successful because of preparedness, planning, and training. On behalf of Berwyn's Emergency Management, I would like to thank all those who helped make these 4 events a success in our community. All of those who volunteered their time and efforts to help with these events, including the elected officials that showed up, those and helped out. The Berwyn Public Library, especially Tammy Sheedy, who's providing the volunteer list, the Berwyn Police Department, Berwyn Police Auxiliary, Berwyn Public Works, the Berwyn Development Corporation, Morton West High School, Berwyn Township Health Department, the Cook County Department of Public Health, Julasco, North Shore Clinic, the North Berwyn Park District staff, the Office of the Mayor and City Administrator, and most important of all, the people, our friends, our neighbors, our family members who came out and waited patiently to get tested and vaccinated to promote the health and safety of their fellow residents. And personally, I would like to thank Tony Loretto and J.D. Bolt for the hard work they did in putting this out. We will have 1 or 2 more planned, so we're still in the process of planning out another event coming up, which we will announce shortly in approximately 2 weeks, and we're trying to do some walk-in by appointment only, so we're also planning on that. We've gotten great cooperation from some of the clinics to help us out with respect to these testings, and we're trying to work with Morton College nursing students also to help us with some act as technicians. So I want to thank everybody who's trying to provide for the safety of our residents and really help out during this trying time. That's all I have.
I know that they've said nationally, because of all the testing that's being done, a lot of these labs are taking a little longer than anticipated to get the results out.
Yes.
So please, somehow, let's let the folks that are taking advantage of this, let them know that it's going to be a while.
We have been. The first one, they were supposed to be sheets with numbers. On the last one, we gave them the actual cards to the lab, and we told them if you haven't heard in 72 hours to please call.
Good.
But we do know that the labs that are calling, if you're negative, they're only going to call you once. They won't keep on calling you. If you're positive, they'll keep on calling you. So people do have to follow up, especially after 72 hours, even though we know sometimes it is taking longer than 72 hours.
Good. Thank you.
Mayor,
Anybody else?
I just have some comments, Mayor. One is that I would like to thank everyone that Tony just listed. I volunteered Sunday at Morton High School, and it was the most organized, well put together, streamlined testing site. I mean, not that I volunteered at any other ones, but this was definitely hands down the best setup I have seen in a long time. And the management team and the entire city always does a great job, but this was above and beyond. So I applaud everyone. I know it takes a lot of work and manpower in the background that a lot of individuals and residents don't understand or realize how much commitment and manpower goes into just to even create the event, let alone the day that it occurs. So thank you, everyone that partaked in that to make that happen. I really appreciate that, and I know a lot of residents do too. Secondly, my town hall meeting, the first Zoom we ever had. Of course, the only Zoom meeting that I'm going to be technically challenged with, and everything possibly that could go wrong went wrong. But I do want to give a special shout out to Marge Paul, Tony Loretto, and Bob Schiller for taking time out of, I know they're part of the emergency management team, and I know that they have long days already, but that they spent a couple of hours with me and the Sixth Ward residents, really sharing about the COVID process, resources, information that really decreased a lot of the angst that my Sixth Ward residents had. So again, I know I thanked them that night, but I just want to applaud them again, because things like Sunday, I know takes a lot of work, and the fact that they took time out of their evening to spend with us, even with all our hiccups, I am really grateful for that, so thank you.
Okay. Anybody else?
I do. I have a letter that I've written to Mr. Williams, who is in the office of Karen Yarborough, regarding the November 3 election. I'll just read the letter. It should be explanatory, but I'm happy to answer any questions if there are any left after I've read this. Dear Mr. Williams, on November 3rd, 2020, Cook County elections convened in Berwyn's 3rd Ward, precincts 1, 3, and 4, in a single classroom and in the halls of Piper Elementary School at 2435 Kenilworth Avenue. This location was ill-suited for the number of voters during this highly contested election, especially during a global pandemic. Your office failed to notify the city clerk or other elected officials about a change in the venue for typically precincts 1 and 4 vote in City Hall. Recognizing that the precincts 1 and 4 needed to move due to COVID-19's concerns, a representative from your office met with the Berwyn City Clerk and agreed that the location at Berwyn Park District Liberty Center at 6447 27th Street was a satisfying location for Precinct 1. Precinct 4 was expected to continue to use council chambers. This arrangement would have been fully ADA accessible, with an adjacent parking lot, multiple entrances, and enough space to maintain social distance for voters and election officials. On the basis of that agreement with the city clerk, my team and I hand-delivered a notice to every home in those precincts, thanking them for being flexible and patient with your office and ours. However, your office did not notify the clerk that changes were made to that agreement. We only learned of a change when voter registration cards began to arrive, notifying residents that their voting location would be at Piper School. Piper School has limited ADA accessibility and could not provide adequate social distancing for either voters or election officials. Precincts 1 and 4 were located in the hallway, with less than 3 feet from voting booth to wall. Precinct 3 maintained its traditional location in the reserved classroom. Your office was notified of the inadequacy of this facility as soon as the clerk's office was alerted by an election judge who was assigned to Piper School. You were also notified by election officials on voting day of the inadequate and unsafe conditions. I realize that your office is under incredible strain, but your failure to partner with our city to provide safe and fair elections in the 3rd Ward is unacceptable. Our top priority must be in determining safe and accessible polling locations for all Berwyn voters. We are here to work with you. Please contact the Berwyn City Clerk to determine the best solution to this problem. Respectfully, Janine Reardon, 3rd Ward Alderman. I'm sending this to Mr. Williams. I'd be happy to add anyone's name who'd like to contribute to this. Happy to answer any questions as well.
Unfortunately, at that point, I had spoken to Superintendent Havis, who informed me that it was going to really be a problem at Piper on the night of setup.
Right.
So we did realize it, and I believe the city clerk and I learned about it the same way. I actually went in to check on a voter database for something and found out it was at Piper. So I know Marge and I found out at the exact same time.
Yeah.
We had no idea what was happening.
No, so I walked 1 to tell them that it would be at Liberty Center, and then I walked 1 and 4 to
Right.
alert them that they would be at Piper. And I don't mind talking to my residents. I do mind that they don't know where they're going to be in adequate time to prepare themselves.
And we knew one was going to have to be moved because that room was too small, but
That's
nobody
right.
said anything that we were going to move
That's
from
right.
this room, so.
That's right. And I think that their office must have been inundated with a lot of difficulty.
I'm sure it was.
But a communication to the clerk is a pretty simple thing, and so their failure to do that needs to be
Hopefully, we can
resolved.
have that rectified before the next election, so.
That's right.
Anybody else? Okay, thank you. Item C1, please.
Mayor, can I have a copy of Mr. Loretto's letter for the record?
Oh, I'm sorry, here. Here you go. Item C1, please.
Item C1 are the minutes of the Committee of the Whole and the regular City Council meeting of November 10th, 2020.
Make a motion that we approve the committee of the whole and the regular meeting that was held, the minutes for start all over. Let me make a motion to approve the minutes for our committee of the whole meeting and the regular council meeting that was held November 10th, 2020.
Second.
Motion by Avila, seconded by Fate, to approve the Berwyn City Committee of the Whole meeting and the council meeting on November 10th, 2020. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. From here on in, I'll ask for a roll call vote since we do have people on telephonic, okay? Item F1, please.
Item F1 is a communication from the mayor regarding the reappointment of Wayne Sedor and Richard Leja to the Emergency Telephone System Board.
Make a motion that we concur with Mayor Navarro in appointing Wayne Sidoric and Richard Lejek for the Berwyn Emergency Telephone System Board.
Second. Motion by Avila, seconded by Noack, to concur with the recommendation and reappoint Wayne Sedor and Richard Leja to the Emergency Telephone System Board of Berwyn. All those in favor, I'll call the roll.
Lennon.
Aye.
Ramirez.
Aye.
Reardon.
Aye.
Fate.
Aye.
Santoy.
Aye.
Ruiz.
Aye.
Avila.
Aye.
Noack.
Aye.
8 ayes, Mayor.
Motion carried. Item F2, please.
Item F2 is a communication from the mayor regarding an overview of Depot District grant funding.
I will make a motion to accept this communication as informational. And as well, I would like to recognize the efforts of Robert Schiller, Nicole Campbell, the Engineering Division, and Metro Strategies for a successful $1,282,000 Second. grant. Thank you.
Second.
Motion by Lennon, seconded by Fate, to consider the communication informational, and especially thank Robert Schiller, Nicole Campbell, the Engineering Division, and Metro Strategies, especially for their successful $1.282 million STP grant. All those in favor on the call of the roll.
Lennon.
Aye.
Ramirez.
Aye.
Reardon.
Aye.
Fate.
Aye.
Santoy.
Aye.
Ruiz.
Aye.
Avila.
Aye.
Noack.
Aye.
8 ayes, Mayor.
Motion carried. Bob, just a quick question. With this new grant that you guys just received, are we near our finalization for the monies that we need?
Yes, we're really right about there as far as the streetscape end of it.
Yes.
And the EPA portion of it is coming to focus as well. So our plan is to be out for bid by the end of the year.
Okay.
With bids being back in February, March for the utilities portion.
And construction?
Construction probably by June.
Okay, so those of you who has wards that it's in, make sure your businesses and your residents know, okay?
In addition, part of the EPA funding is dealing with lead services, so I'm going to get together with each alderman who has residents within this construction area, and we'll communicate, we have to get either whether it be Zoom meetings or whether it be small gatherings to communicate with them what's being proposed and get some rights of entry, access agreements to access private property.
Okay. All right, item F3, please.
Item F3 is a communication from the mayor with an attached resolution reading, a resolution authorizing dissolution of the West Suburban Mass Transit District.
Make a motion that we approve the resolution authorizing the dissolution of the West Suburban Mass Transit District.
Second.
Motion by Avila, seconded by Lennon, to approve the resolution recommending the City of Berwyn approve for the dissolution of the West Suburban Mass Transit District. All those in favor on the call of the roll.
Lennon.
Aye.
Ramirez.
I just want to make a comment before I make my thing. It's $6,500 that each community is getting. Is that earmarked for anything yet?
Not that I'm aware. Ben, do you know, has that 6,500 been earmarked for anything?
Not that I'm aware of.
Right. Yeah, no, not that I'm aware.
I know-
I'm sorry, Ruth.
Okay, I know it's not.
Hold on,
It's not a lot
Alderman.
of money,
Wait,
but
Alderman, I think City Administrator Valbury, who's been dealing with this, go on, Ruth.
Sure. In the past, the most recent one we got was for
Did you hear that, Alderman Ramirez?
I did hear that, and I was gonna make a suggestion that we use some of it for the depot building itself. I haven't taken the train downtown since March, but I used to catch the train every morning, and the building itself could use a little sprucing up. I noticed on the ceiling, there's like lats that are coming apart and maybe a nice paint job. I don't know how much control we have over that building, but.
Were you
maybe
talking
some of
about
that
the Oak
money
Park
could go towards
Station?
sprucing it up.
The Oak Park Station?
Yep.
That's the one he's referring
Yeah,
to?
that's
the
what
one
he's
he uses.
referring to.
Yeah, we can look into that because that is part of the depot, and we do the maintenance of those buildings, so we can definitely look into seeing doing that, okay?
I would agree with
Thank you.
Alderman
So my-
Ramirez.
I say yes, aye.
Okay.
Fate,
How about Reardon?
Reardon. I apologize.
Aye.
Fate,
Aye.
Santoy,
Aye.
Ruiz,
Aye.
Avila,
Aye.
Noack.
Aye.
8 ayes, Mayor.
Motion carried. Item H1, please.
Item H1 is a communication from the zoning commission with an ordinance. An ordinance approving a variation to build a second-story addition to a single-family home with a 12.5 foot setback from the facade of the building within the R2 Bungalow zoning district at the address commonly known as 1628 South Kyler Avenue, Berwyn, Illinois. Patsy McEnroe, owner.
That would be my motion to approve the ordinance, apply the necessary signatures, and send the next way of passage.
Second.
Motion by Santoy, seconded by Avila, to approve the ordinance, allowing the variation, affix the necessary signatures, and place on its way to passage. All those in favor on the call of the roll.
Lennon,
Aye.
Ramirez,
Aye.
Reardon,
No.
Fate,
Aye.
Santoy,
Aye.
Ruiz,
Aye.
Avila,
Aye.
Noack.
Aye.
7 ayes, Mayor, 1 nay.
Motion carried. Item I1, please.
Item I1 is a communication from Alderman Santoy to explore the creation of a cost-sharing water service program.
Yeah, it'd be my motion to refer this communication to the Public Works Committee.
Second.
Motion by Santoy, seconded by Ruiz, to refer the communication to the Public Works Committee for further discussion. All those in favor on the call of the roll.
Lennon,
Aye.
Ramirez,
Aye.
Reardon,
Aye.
Fate,
Aye.
Santoy,
Aye.
Ruiz,
Aye.
Avila,
Aye.
Noack.
Aye.
8 ayes, Mayor.
Motion carried. Item I2, please.
Item I2 is a communication from Alderman Lennon requesting council agenda and minutes be translated into Spanish.
I would like to refer this communication to the city clerk's office. We've had discussions about this for several years, and I'd like to see how we can get this information translated into Spanish.
Second.
Motion by Lennon, seconded by Ruiz, to have the communication referred to the city's clerk office to examine how we can get the information translated into Spanish. All those in favor on the call of the roll.
Lennon,
Aye.
Ramirez,
Aye.
Reardon,
Aye.
Fate,
Aye.
Santoy,
Aye.
Ruiz,
Aye.
Avila,
Aye.
Noack.
Aye.
8 ayes, Mayor.
Motion carried. Item J1, please.
Item J1 is a communication from Finance Director Dash regarding the BMO line of credit extension final document with an ordinance repealing and replacing ordinance number 20-45 related to a revolving line of credit loan from BMO Harris Bank N.A. to the city of Berwyn, Cook County, Illinois.
I have a couple of questions. I'm sorry, Ben, your question earlier sent me back to reread this. I see the difference in the previous contract, and this one is that the $3.8 million that we originally asked for doesn't seem to be listed in the contract?
It's in the ordinance. We are,
Sorry.
we're approving the terms of the revolving line of credit agreement.
That's right.
The ordinance, what'll happen is that once the measure is approved, The $3.85 million is specified in the ordinance itself.
I see, thank
It's
you.
in the whereas, it shows the draw on page 3.
Thank you. What I also noticed in the ordinance, in the agreement with the bank, is that if our credit rating goes below where it is now, which is triple B, to BBB minus, it suddenly becomes callable within a certain time frame. What's the likelihood that that's going to happen, Ben?
Well, we're not S&P. Obviously, we have not received any new indication beside our credit rating right now. However, the terms are stated that future draws could be impacted by a decision by S&P.
I did read that. I guess but it just triggers my concerns about when would we know if S&P were to downgrade us?
No communication has been expressed as of lately. The last communication was back in June when the COVID pandemic was at its height.
Sure, well, but it would come up being triggered by us asking by us going out for new bonds? What triggers the S&P doing a credit check?
That is one scenario.
Are there any others that we should be paying close attention to in the coming months? Because my expectation is that this line of credit will be resolved before it's due, due
Correct.
to our last conversation.
Correct.
But if for some reason it doesn't, what instances would trigger a relook at our credit rating from Standards & Poor's or these other agencies?
Well, as we witnessed earlier this year, any sort of dramatic change with the pandemic or the economy, our financial advisor would be one to maybe attest to scenarios of that nature. But to my knowledge, a dramatic worldwide economic event could trigger S&P to make a decision. But
So that's already happened, and
right.
we could be signing this agreement with this new amendment to the contract already in trouble with that. Is that correct?
I'm not following your question.
Well,
She's basically saying, since we've already hit that nationwide problem, and
Yes.
we're still at this, do we feel comfortable in signing this? Correct me if I'm saying it wrong. Do we feel comfortable in signing this because we've already hit that big nationwide problem?
Correct. That is correct.
Did I paraphrase that correctly?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's close enough. So I guess my real question is, we have no idea what our current credit rating is, and we won't until S&P goes through all of it, because that event has already occurred. And-
Well, S&P issued their credit rating in the past. Now, of course, what our credit rating right now, we have to go with the last rating imposed, which is triple B.
So they don't have a regular timeline that they send us our
No.
update?
That's
credit
correct.
reports?
It's
At
just
random?
predicated on whether we go to future bonds and
But
so forth.
but looking at where we are now in the context of this global pandemic that's already impacted a credit rating that is yet to be determined by Standards & Poor's, how confident are we that we will stay at triple B? How confident are you, as the finance director, that that's where we'll stay?
I think we can only manage what we can control. And obviously, we have a budget process. We've gone through every measure we can as in government to operate in a fashion. But you're asking me to go in the minds of the analysts at S&P, and I can't provide you with what they're thinking and how that's going to impact our rating in the future. We are at triple B right as of now. That's all I can tell you.
Thank you.
Do you have an aye or a nay?
We haven't.
We have a motion.
We haven't
Oh, I'm
motioned.
sorry.
So not yet, no.
Okay.
Make a motion that we adopt the ordinance repealing and replacing ordinance number 2022-45 related to a revolving line of credit loan from BMO Harris Bank and A to the City of Berwyn, Cook, County of Cook, Illinois. Ask the corporate authorities to fix the necessary signatures and place it on its way to passage.
Second.
Motion by Avila, seconded by Noack, to adopt the ordinance repealing and replacing ordinance number 20-45 related to revolving line of credit loan from BMO Harris, affix the necessary signatures, and place it on its way to passage. All those in favor on the call of the roll.
Lennon.
Aye.
Ramirez.
Aye.
Reardon.
With reservations, aye.
Fate.
Aye.
Santoy.
Aye.
Ruiz.
Aye.
Avila.
Aye.
Noack.
Aye.
8 ayes, Mayor.
Motion carried. Item J2, please.
Item J2 is a communication from City Administrator Green regarding the renewal of excess workers' compensation insurance.
It'd be my motion to concur with the staff recommendations that council authorize city administration to execute a contract with Safety National for excess workers compensation insurance at a premium of $123,878 with an SIR of $1 million. Fix the necessary signatures and place its way on the passage.
Second.
Motion by Noack, second by Avila, to concur with the recommendation of City Administrator Green and authorize the city administration to execute a contract with Safety National for excess workers' compensation insurance with a premium of $123,878 with an SIR of $1 million. All those in favor on the call of the roll.
Lennon.
Aye.
Ramirez.
Aye.
Reardon.
Aye.
Fate.
Aye.
Santoy.
Aye.
Ruiz.
Aye.
Avila.
Aye.
Noack.
Aye.
8 ayes, Mayor.
Motion carried. The consent agenda.
Make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion by Avila, seconded by Reardon, to approve the consent agenda as presented. All those in favor? On the
Aye.
call of the roll.
Lennon.
Aye.
Ramirez.
Aye.
Reardon.
Aye.
Fate.
Aye.
Santoy.
Aye.
Ruiz.
Aye.
Avila.
Aye.
Noack.
Aye.
8 ayes, Mayor.
Aldermanic committee meetings. Alderman Lennon.
Call it a chair.
Alderman Ramirez.
Call the chair.
Alderman Reardon.
Call the chair.
Alderman Fate.
Call it chair.
Alderman Santoy.
Call the chair.
Alderman Ruiz.
Call the chair.
Alderman Avila.
Call it a chair, and I want to wish everybody a safe Thanksgiving Day. You're going to be there with your family. Please be careful, social distance, take care of yourselves and your family members. Thank you very much.
Alderman Noack.
Call the chair. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion to adjourn by Noack, seconded by Reardon. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Have a good Thanksgiving, everyone.
You too.
Did you get your new mask?
Get my age, Ralph.
Yes.